visa, which is, I guess, why you're watching this video. What you might not have heard is that we at Move to Prague were actually the first agency who, like 10, 11 years ago, started actually doing this type of visa or working with clients for this type of visa. Because it was always there or for a very long time, but not really too many people knew about it, and we started taking first clients, getting some first experience, and since then it boomed, and so many people are applying now for the partnership visa, which is on one hand good because it's a very good type of visa with plenty of advantages. And if you don't know the advantages, I've made a couple of videos about that, so I will share the links somewhere here once I finish the live stream. But also, on the other hand, because of the advantages, many people try to, or many, some people try to fake their applications, and then the ministry, when they see that, then make the rules more complicated and more strict for everyone applying. So today I want to focus on this dark side where no one will tell you about, because also that's another thing. Before I will get to the topic in a second, just bear with me. The thing is that often people think that they have Czech partner or Slovak partner, so they can understand the ministry's website. And now there is actually it's a nice website, the new version of the FRS, where you can find like all the information and in English, and it has some structure, all that. So many times people think that because they speak Czech or because the FRS is like so shiny and new and all good, that they can actually deal with the visa on by themselves. But sometimes they do, of course, but sometimes they end up in a big trouble and they come to us to try to sort it out, which we will gladly do if we can, but sometimes it's very difficult because you can get in such a deep hole that it's very difficult to like take you out of that. And that's mainly because of that only on the official website of the ministry, you find the official information, like what documents you need, kind of. It's not for the partnership visa, it's not really there. It's just like you need this and this, but it doesn't really specify what it is. But you can get kind of the steps, like collect documents, submit it at the ministry, then wait, and these are the documents. So you kind of get the info and you think you can do it. But there are some things of which if you're not aware, you can completely mess up your application and potentially even any future applications in the future. I don't know. I haven't had coffee, guys, today's I don't know. My brain is not braining properly. Anyway, so today I will talk about 3 main disadvantages, or maybe like complications or tricky parts, how to call it, which are connected to the partnership visa. So first, it will be shorter validity. Second, it will be the amount of insurance you need. And third will be proving your income, which is the most complicated. So let's go through that one by one. Number 1 was shorter validity. So as you probably know, there used to be, like 2 years ago, there used to be just one definition of a family member of an EU citizen, because this residence permit, the partnership visa, is for couples where one is a non-EU citizen and the other is an EU citizen living in the Czech Republic long term. So in the past, there was just one definition of the family member. So if you were dating, if you were married, if you were a child, it didn't matter. Everyone could get the same type of residence permit. Now the definition is split. So if you're just dating, you can still get this partnership visa with all the benefits it has, but the validity, the maximum validity, will not be 5 years as if you were married or you were a child of an EU citizen, but it will only be 3 years. So that's something you need to keep in mind. And this video is not about saying that the partnership visa is not good. It's definitely one of the best options you can apply for. This is just to bring to your attention that it's not, especially if you're not married, because that's what the real partnership visa is. If you're married, then you're applying not for the partnership visa, but for slightly different type. So that you need to be aware of some things. And ideally, if you're not sure about any of that, just get in touch with us and we'll be happy to advise. Even if you ended up doing it yourself, it's still worth booking a consultation with us so we can like point you in the right direction. So that's the first thing, that the maximum validity is 3 years. But the second thing is the 3 years of insurance, or the long validity of the insurance, is that if you want to get residence permit for 3 years, you need to buy health insurance for 3 years. And now it's better because there is a competition. There is not only PVZP, but if there was only PVZP a couple months ago, you would have to pay basically like 80,000-90,000 crowns in advance before you even knew if you would be accepted or not. So now it's different. Now, depending on your age, it might be 45,000 crowns, like for the very young people below 30, or let's say around 20 a year, so 60. So between 50,000-60,000 crowns for the insurance, which is way better than 80 or 90. But still, you need to pay 60,000 crowns in advance if you want to get the partnership visa for full 3 years. So that's something you can or you should keep in mind as well. Of course, there might be ways around that, but we will keep that only for our clients. So you have a motivation to get in touch. Anyway, the third thing and the most important, or if there is a problem, it's either with the relationship, that the ministry doesn't believe that you're a real couple, that you didn't submit enough proof of the relationship. Of course, that can happen. Other things can happen as well. But in most cases, if there is a problem, it's with the finances. Because now, after the change of the definition of the family member, what happened is that you need to prove that you are making enough money on monthly basis to like sustain your life here. And that's kind of okay if one of you already lives here, the EU citizen already lives here, and then you're you're applying for the partnership visa, so your partner already has a stable job and they work and they have a high enough salary, all good. Or if you both have been living here, you have a different type of residence permit, you have an employee card, for example, and now you want to switch to a partnership visa, that's okay, that's usually fine. Of course, it depends also on the amount of income, because there is some limit you need to be making. But if you already are established in the Czech Republic and you have a job, you and your partner have a job, that's kind of easy to prove. Complication starts when you're moving here together and you want to apply for the partnership visa, because obviously, well, you cannot work before you apply, but to apply you need to prove that you're working and you've been making enough money. So it's kind of like a stupid requirement. Very stupid, but it's there. So even if you're both moving here together, let's say your partner is French and you are a Filipina or Thai or an American or whoever, and you decide to move to the Czech Republic together, when you're submitting your partnership visa application, you will need to show that you're making enough money. So that's one complication. Like, you've just arrived, you don't have any job because you cannot work, and you need to prove that you're making enough money. So then, of course, you could potentially, if you have a source of income somewhere else, so you're a freelancer in your home country, or your partner is freelancer in some country, or employed and works distantly, like we see that more and more often, that like it's the modern economy, and that's why also Czech Republic introduced the digital nomad visa, that people work for a US company but they can work from home and they can work from wherever, so they do that. So if this is your situation, then potentially you could prove this income, but that gets pretty complicated as well, because first you need to get original documents, and if you work online for some company, or if you have your own clients and you invoice them, whatever, then it's pretty difficult to get all the original documents. Second, you need to get everything you submit to the ministry should be in Czech. So if you have like 1,000 invoices to your clients, you should translate 1,000 invoices for the ministry, and that will probably cost you more than the health insurance. So this is another thing. And of course, like the kind of the weirdest like combination is if you already have like passive income, or if you have investments, or if you have whatever, and savings even, and you don't really need to work or you don't want to work. Because that's like you were working you were working on that for like 10 years of your life to like build a passive income so you can travel the world and you don't need to worry about your job. But you cannot really do it in the Czech Republic because then you have no way of proving your income. So actually you're in the best situation like real life, but in the worst situation immigration wise in the Czech Republic. So that's kind of a stupid requirement, but it's there, and that's definitely something you should consider before you even apply. Yeah, and there, of course, there can be other complications with that. That's why I said that it's the most common reason for any problems, because even if you're here already and you are, for example, a freelancer, then if you did your taxes the 60-40 way, like that you deducted 60% of your income as your expenses, then most likely you will not be making enough, because on paper you will be making only the 40%. So even if you made 500,000 crowns or 1,000,000 crowns, let's say, a year, then you deduct 60% and you basically only on paper are making 400,000 before taxes, before social security, before healthcare. So even if you are already established here and you've been here for some time, then there is still a problem that you will not be able to show high enough income to the ministry. Also, if you have DPP contracts, for example, the ministry doesn't count it as an income, because it kind of makes sense because it's limited to 300 hours a year, even though, of course, companies like go around that somehow and you might be actually making some income through that. The ministry doesn't accept that. So these were the three main disadvantages or complications related to the partnership visa. So definitely, of course, I'm saying this so we can get new clients. That's always good. But I'm saying this also as your friend or as someone who gives you advice, which should be helpful to you. And that's if you want to apply for a partnership visa for the sake of having the complication like as smooth as possible. If you don't want to do the whole process with us, that's fine, even though we'll be happy to help you like with everything, even submitting the application, all that. But if you don't want to do it and you just, even if you don't want to do it, come to us and do at least consultation so you know what documents the ministry will be looking at in terms of your income. How to go about the insurance, because there are some ways around that, but they need to be approached in a specific way. Yeah, how the extension works, because you will only get it for 3 years or maybe even shorter if you get shorter validity of the insurance. So at least like come to us, get a consultation done or get a documents check done, and we make sure that it works out for you and your partner. So now there is one question in the chat, so I will answer that. I've been showing this 116,712. What is that? Czech koruna amount for 2 months. It's okay for student visa minimum requirements. I don't actually know what you mean. It's like 116,712. You mean like 116,000? If that's probably around the required amount. So that should be fine. For 2 months, it doesn't matter. It should be there during the whole approval process. So you should keep the money there until you get the approval. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for joining. If you have any questions, comment. It's still comments. Comment when I finish the live stream. The video will stay there as a recording on my channel. So comment or get in touch using the link in the description, and we'll be happy to help you or answer any of your questions about the partnership visa or anything else. And again, I'll see you again on Thursday, Monday, until the end of the world. Bye bye, guys.